So your next movie, everything will be single shot, finishing the camera, onto the bench, no effects.
Yeah, no, my next movie's going to be very simple. Whatever it is, it will be as simple as hell. I never, ever want to get involved in anything as complicated as the game.
Well,
this is going to be the hardest thing I ever do in my life. So here we are on the first anniversary of the beginning of filming, 1 year ago today, in the heat of Mount Victoria, and here we are at Deer Park Heights, Queenstown, and as a special treat for the crew who have been so wonderful for this first year, we've bought a new snow machine. We're just testing it at the moment. It's quite amazing. It can actually cover several miles, and just one little machine just blasts the snow out, so it's quite effective. But anyway, we'll turn it off and get back to shooting. Thank you. Turn that snow machine off, everybody, now, please. Come on, back to work. Back to work, come on.
"5:30, last day of my shooting on Lord of the Rings, which started in the second or third week of January 2000, 3.5 years ago exactly. And we're in Wellington, capital of New Zealand. It's on the south of the North Island, when the winds can blow. And we came in yesterday thinking it was the last day. Put the makeup on and then was sent home. Same thing may happen today, depending on the weather.
I just wanted to let you know that the weather is looking to clear up. And what we may do is go into A stage, start with your shot there, and then move outside once the weather starts to clear away.
The day begins at 7 o'clock with breakfast. Nice crispy bacon. Good. I usually find if I eat a decent breakfast, I don't actually eat anything else all day. It's a very important meal.
It's been going since 5 o'clock. That's how long it takes to make 280 pancakes.
I think it's probably hitting about 8 degrees.
No, it's not. No, it's about 15.
Oh, come on.
Yep, 15.
It's warm in here.
It's very warm in here. Because we are hot.
Got my 3D camera and a spare roll of film, so I'm all equipped for the day. And now we're going to basically go to the stage.
Carol's away scheduling, trying to produce some rain-free days for Historica. So I'll be fishing today.
Good morning. This is the existing cut. There's Gandalf is up front there.
Oh yes.
But unless people actually spot him,
Yes.
they won't even know, because then we go on and we have see, we have Vigo. You're now up front here.
Ah, right.
We have Vigo. We have Orly. Orly looks around. Vigo looks around. Another wide.
And you obviously kept off me because I wasn't
because
there.
you wasn't there. So because this is potentially the first scene in the movie, it's important to at least just see you riding and looking around. So the sort of shot we want to shoot with you is actually one like that, where you're literally just walking, looking around, a bit ominous, a bit creepy. Oh well, we've got part of a horse. We've got sort of that bit of a horse there.
Oh, that old favourite.
Right, steady she goes. Right, steady, steady. Settle down, settle down. Right, okay.
And action. The whole trick of film acting is, despite this having to get up early, wait, and be told to come and then told not to, is when the moment comes and the camera turns to be there, in the character, in the feeling, in the mood, precisely.
We should have actually...
No time to waste.
We should have actually got this thing powered with
its own internal engine, and then you could have had a little steering wheel and you just driven it around yourself, couldn't you? It would have been quite good.
I wouldn't put it past you to have one next time you come here.
Put a speed on! Go on! Put a speed on!
Andy getting on the first? Oh, what?
Steve in the boat. We've got a couple of weights down the bottom with a carabiner on them, which we're running a wire through, which comes down and goes to my men over there. And on the count of 3, 2, 1, pull, they'll give them a large pull, enough to pull them into the water.
All I've got to do is not fall in. All I've got to do.
A bit jealous, really, not to be doing this. Not quite as trained. And I've heard the eels in there as well.
Don't lose it!
I got him.
No.
Plenty of blood.
Oh, that's right.
He's going to go down till his feet are covered with water, and then it'll be a cut, and we'll start bringing them back up. When our red marker comes up, then we'll just, time to bring them up.
In case the wheel jams or we have any problems at all, we've got a crane standing by to lift the wheel out. We've got an emergency rescue diver as well in the water, ready to go, and the stuntman's got about a 10-minute air supply of his own. Also, we have paramedics standing by, and all the good stuff.
Action!
If Christopher Lee hadn't been playing Saruman, we probably would have had the same demise, because it's, it makes sense to have Saruman falling off his tower and landing on something sharp, but the fact that it is Christopher Lee obviously has a significance to us all, and it's quite fun. I bet he thought that he'd hit his last stakes with a heart, but he was wrong. He came down here and to New Zealand, and we rammed another wooden stake through his heart.
There's something vaguely familiar about this situation. 27 years ago, when I looked up, I saw Peter Cushing. 27 years later, in New Zealand, I look up and I see Peter Jackson.
It's called lace. It's a type of nylon net, and it's made on the same machines that make mosquito netting. But it's made specially for wigs. They're made to fit absolutely exactly one person, which is why when you're fitting extras, you need loads of them, and they never fit properly. But you can just about fudge it.
I could get used to this, actually.
So it's 3 dimensions. Shooting 3D, see? So the 3D photos of the Lord of the Rings set will exist. You get one of those Viewmaster kind of real things. It'd be cool.
I just want to look at it. There's one more time.
I heard about this thing called the Palantir, which apparently is a magic bowling ball. So I stole it, but my thumbs get caught in it.
Pippin's screaming! Pippin's in pain! He's struggling! He stands! He stands, he's struggling, he's in pain, he falls! Go to him! Aragorn comes in! Aragorn runs across the room, grabs the Palantir! Grabs the Palantir, he's struggling! The Palantir rolls! Look at him! Yeah, it wasn't bad though. For just, I mean, you know, we're only going to use moments of it.
In lines of Bruce Reid McKellen.
Yeah,
That's me. Tiny me.
Peter McCaffrey.
That's fine. Mini me.
It's still hanging in there.
Got him hobbled there. He can't spread his legs out. You got him hobbled.
So the leg straps on.
What?
Dummy. That's my lifeline.
That's
Yeah.
the speed control, but sometimes it don't work.
No, sometimes it definitely don't work. As you could well find out in the next shot.
We made it look too easy in the beginning, and then the further we've gone, the more difficult it's got, and the more stuff they've thrown on us because we made it look easy in the first place. So it makes it a little difficult. It's not as easy as it looks, and it is a lot more dangerous than it looks.
Today we're here in Paulburn in the South Island, about 2 hours from Queenstown, and we're filming with 235 extras and about 30 hero horses or company-owned horses. The extra riders with their horses, they actually stay on site, camping in their horse floats or a tent or caravan, whatever accommodation they can bring with them, basically.
What we've laid here is probably the longest track in the Southern Hemisphere. It's approximately 150 metres long. It's taken us, about 3 or 4 hours to lay, and it's quite a build.
Action!
What we did is we took some wire out of the fence, we strung it and strained it so that it took the weight of this very heavy crane and 2 dogs. I think we've done pretty well.
The biggest crane I think I've ever seen in this country.
And it's one of the most expensive. The head is as expensive as my house.
Yeah, this camera on the blue crane is the king. This will be one of the few opportunities in your life you're allowed to look at the camera.
Highly sophisticated transport mode. Very, very big budget mechanical device. Oh. So have you found my film, Brian?
I was just going to review with you and see
No,
if
but
we've
my
got some
lost
water
film.
polo. Oh, your stuff, I've heard about it, yeah. The lost footage.
Everybody's got lost footage.
Yeah. And that was like the whole entire Helm's Deep in 3D, wasn't it?
Somebody cleared the table and thought it was rubbish and it got thrown away. She's fighting and they're coming at them, and behind them horses should be close in and wheeling and hacking, and it should just be kind of mayhem.
It's interesting seeing the number of different blades I've had to make each shot work. These blades will probably end up getting virtually thrown away at the end of this.
Yesterday was such a full-on day with heating the blade that we're now down to our hero sword. So we've got to be very careful on how much we heat it, otherwise we'll end up losing this one as well.
Okay, we're ready. Line up and go! And now!
Together.
Hello. I mean, I think what's happened is somebody's just come to clear away the old cups on the table, a unit person, and saw this and thought it was just some discarded old bit of bag. I mean, so we're looking through the skip where everything from yesterday ended up, and I think if it's going to be anywhere, it'll be in the skip. Yeah. So I've got quite high hopes that we'll find it there. Thinking about the basic hero shot would be head in the foreground and then just behind. Looking back, and we might be closing on the head. Waiting for the cloud. Waiting for the cloud. Yes. No, it's it can be rather distressing at times like this when you're sitting waiting.
Sir Edmund Hillary's about to come down for lunch. Hopefully we're going to get him to sign these books, which Peter's bought for Elijah, Sean and myself. Very, very excited.
A gift from Peter Jackson.
I think he's read Lord of the Rings like 6 times.
Has he? Apparently he's a fan of the books. So I'm gonna, if he seems amenable to it, I'm gonna see if I can get him to sign it.
It'd be amazing. Big childhood hero.
I was thinking, okay, what's the first thing I'm gonna say to the first man who reached the summit and returned from Everest? And I was, so how was it? The view? How was the view? You know?
Oh, pretty good, really.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Actually, could you mind writing that to Gollum?
To Gollum?
Yeah.
This is oh no, this is the refugee leaving one. That's a different one. You want the army leaving one.
Oh my God! I haven't seen that.
Oh, you'll have to pay.
I've missed it.
$9.50. It'll open in two Christmases time. Well, it looks like we've got a problem with the snow machine. The button's jammed and we can't turn it off. It's creating a bit of problem. It's snowing all over Queensland. I think the police are going to come and tell us off. We've got to try and get this machine to shut down.
Cut that. That's like.
No, they look great.
Breathe! Breathe!
It's no good, we've lost him. Now pump us on.
Breathe. Breathe.
Really, it's not too bad. It's a possibility we should think about for the Dimholt Road. The place that's exactly like this, but 10 times better, is the old Punakaiki Pinnacles. In the absence of the video diarists who were too chicken to come up all the way up the mountain in the choppers, Barry Osborne took command of the video camera, and but unfortunately we were noticing every time the shot was starting to look interesting, his cell phone would ring. So it was like he was continuously filming and then answering his phone, filming and answering his phone. So you probably only got 2 or 3 seconds of usable material in between phone calls.
Is that what happened?
That's all it takes you is 2 or 3 seconds of great material.
There's always a certain amount of danger involved with moving people about with helicopters and things, especially into rugged areas like this where we've had to make our own landing pads and things like that, moving a lot of people. The rock formation here is quite loose and there's a chance of us having rocks falling down.
Medic!
Further up the valley, where the rocks are a lot closer, we have the whole crew wearing hard hats as a precaution against rocks coming down from above. Can't make it move. I think they're jammed.
Yeah, that was a good one. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's some good bits there. Take this opportunity just to thank the local cemetery department for providing us with the props today. We promise to have them returned by 8 o'clock tonight. All these skulls are moulded off a skull that Richard has. It's like a human being. It's like somebody lived.
Over and over.
Somebody lived who had no idea when they were alive that they were going to end up being kind of decorating. Their skull was going to decorate this movie. It's pretty weird because it's like they just made 2,000 copies of the same skull.
Skull.
Another one. This one lighter.
If you can buy them, you can buy moulds of real skulls, and it was a male European. Somebody, but God knows where and when and how old it is. And somebody, it was a human being once.
Lord Westerners, strange news. The ring apparently must be destroyed by December the 22nd.
You fool, man. We are yet staggering through the caves.
We provide everybody you see in the film, apart from the lead performers that we've cast prior. We had 4 casting directors, and I'm the New Zealand one, and I ended up sort of the job kind of came about and created itself really. Suddenly we needed hundreds of extras, doubles, you know, of every type, hand, leg, back, neck. I mean, unbelievable. We kind of call ourselves body parts casting to a point. We needed little tiny people, really huge people, all that sort of thing. So really anything that's required, we have to kind of find it. There are people that I think come into, want to be part of it or involved in a film like this for the wrong reasons. You get a feel for people the minute you meet them. People that are too pushy and in your face, you just go, don't need that.
It's not usually the kind of thing casting does, but hey, what we want to do is get you all just looking like you handle these every day, that you're really competent, and that when they put in the pretend arrows later, it's looking like it's doing some work. So we just want to get everybody in unison and holding it the right way, putting the arrows on the right side of the bow.
Just let go, okay.
Yeah, just let go. Just let your fingers open. Okay, no, don't worry about it.
Good.
Pull back. Open your fingers, keep pulling. Now that was great. That's great. Do you want to join our club? Okay.
Whoa! Loose!
Excellent.
You look great.
Oh, I love the drag. Rick's finally got a bit of manly facial hair. He had to have it glued on.
You're playing Roger the Cabin Boy.
No, you were playing Roger the Cabin Boy.
This is Seaman Staines. Over there's Master Bates. This is Pugwash.
I've never afforded myself the time to put myself up for a cameo, so finally, with the last few weeks of pickups and the third film to go, I finally took the plunge, and sure enough, I was even late for my fitting this morning because of a deadline change at Miniatures. So, but very glad I made the effort and got here.
Did you get your own trailer?
I demanded one, but I never got one. I think you and I are sharing. There's a portaloo out the back that they've decked out.
Amazing how you get in the character, isn't it?
You really had both.
Well, that's right. It was about the time that the dreads were being glued to my beard that the first thoughts of buggery came into my mind.
Who are you to deny us passage?
Who is he? Who is he? I'll tell you who he is. Oh, nasty.
Oh, look at that. Bloody brilliant. But Peter should be turning a bit too quick.
We're at the Dry Creek Quarry at Naranga Gorge. No, where are we? Haywards Hill, that's it. Dry Creek Quarry at Haywards Hill. The Ministera set.
actually half read the book. I sort of got sick of it halfway through. Didn't dig it that much, you know. But definitely enjoying doing this sort of stuff and being part of it. It's fantastic. It's a lifetime opportunity.
Just been such a rapid transformation with all the structures going up one day, and then it's been clad, instant polystyrene, stone carvers come along, plasterers, painters, and you've got a building. The next day you've got a city.
You know, we're a lot quicker now. The carvers, the sculptors, we were tiny tots when we started. We'd never really done it before, so now they're a whole department of their own, and they just go. Psh.
And action!
No good. It's fine. Got a helmet. Well, it's a plastic helmet, old boy. I mean, it's not legally a legal safety tested thing, is it? It's made of plastic. How's your arm strength?
Strongest guy we've got.
Oh, God, Kieran! Jesus, you've been on the bloody...
I've put on the
You've
muscle
been eating not muscle. That's not muscle that I'm picking up there. Jesus, he weighs a ton. Good job, you got some armour on there.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly 3 years ago today, May the 23rd, 2000, we were halfway through our shoot. And we had these jackets made. You can sort of see the date there. And it's May the 23rd, 2003, and we're still making the movie. And we've had to celebrate the day, we've asked all the crew to wear these, but I see that not many people have, so there's obviously quite a few of them on eBay.
We're going to start rehearsing now. Basil needs to walk through this a couple of times on the horse. Now he will be walking only, but the rest of you guys should be doing what you're going to do, so that Basil and the horse can get used to it. Back to your pose. Back to your pose. Back to your pose.
Suddenly these things go flying over. They don't know what these things are. They're like black shapes coming towards them, so they could be rocks. The guys can like put their shields up and these things bounce off their shields, and then it's like boom, they land on the ground and sort of spin on the ground, and we see it's a severed head. Throw the horse in.
Background action at the beginning for the extras. Just so they look interested and busy and like they might care about Middle Earth.
Sirian is having quite a hard time today, even with the sun in. It's like so bright. He's shielding his eyes. I'm trying really hard not to blind him, but I need to get little highlights in there, so it's a bit of a trick. He's just finding the general ambience here really, really bright. And New Zealand light is generally about 3 or 4 stops brighter than any other light in the world, and you get DOPs coming here from overseas and they get their meters out like this, and they go.
What we're doing here is just going to blow these the parapet once the wall comes down. And what we've done is we've widened deck cord with a couple of little charges in it. The pillars have already been pre-cut, so when the drawbridge drops down and hits the top, we'll blow it.
We're just tidying up these spikes. Just when these things explode, there's going to be a bit of block and thing flying around the place. So we're just minimising the amount of projectiles that can come out of the block. not give in to fear.
Do not give in to fear.
Terror is their weapon.
Terror is their weapon.
Fight, stand your ground, fight.
Fight, stand your ground, fight.
Would you like cue cards, Ed? We can write you up a little selection.
Well, perhaps we could write the lines on the helmets of the soldiers, and so as you look at each one, you can sort of see.
This is how real filmmaking, professional filmmaking goes. The director writes the words, or his wife writes the words. The director gives me the words. Nobody else has got them. I now give them to the script supervisor, who should have had the words days ago. Right, here are the words. Not the towers, exclamation mark. Aim at the trolls. So not at the towers, at the trolls. If you kill the trolls, the towers can't move, see? And you're wasting your hours fighting at the towers.
We just one more of those and then we'll change our camera angle. So Ian never needs this again.
No, well, actually, Andrew rewrote them.
And Andrew's rewritten me.
Yeah,
He put stand to your post, which is the correct line. Fight. Fight, yeah. Yeah,
I might keep this.
Okay. Hey, John.
As a memento.
Stand to your posts.
Somehow or other.
Stand to your tenor! No! Stand to your post! Oh dear.
Brian, is there anything we can do about the snow machine, mate?
Well, I suppose we can shut the Jenny down, see what that does.
Okay, can we kill the Jenny?
Yeah,
Can we get
okay.
that word out, please? This is creating huge problems for us. And Brian has got to sort it out. Go, Brian, go.
These are not the easiest things to wear. It's quite a technical process getting in, and also, of course, you have to wear the obligatory matching underpants.
New technology has arrived. There's no category for this, so we don't know where to put it.
I am free.
We're going to attempt to do motion capture of Gollum at the same time as we're shooting with the actors, and so it just means that as Andy is performing with Elijah and Sean, all of his movements that he's making are actually being recorded by a computer, which will subsequently provide a lot of useful information for the animation of Gollum. What we've done previously is always just film him and then shoot an empty pass without him, which we're still going to have to do today. And about a year or 2 years later, in some instances, we have to then motion capture him. So Andy has to recreate his performance after a huge period of time has passed. We can have play orange light beaming up there like you're over some lava bloody chasm or something. Why you don't throw the ring into there, I don't know. But that might, I suppose you have to go through a door. All right, okay.
You always have to go through the door.
We have 13 cameras that are all looking at markers on Andy's body, as well as looking at markers on the cameras and other objects in the scene. So we're tracking cameras, we're tracking Andy, and we're tracking any other object that they choose to place in the area. Before today, we had to have an absolutely clean environment, which means that we wouldn't even allow someone to walk in with a plastic water bottle because it was reflective. It would show up as a marker. And in this case, we have people walking around with lights, water bottles, smoke in the air. It's an environment that, in the world of motion capture, most groups would consider impossible to capture.
And ooh, that's a beauty.
It's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it first purpose.
Did it? You saw the dots?
Yeah, dots in the camera and everything. So it could be. You can go to Fiji now and
Yeah. Man, means I lose thousands of dollars of wages, man.
No, we'll still need you
Of course, in the motion capture stage, I then swapped to Speed Skater Blue Lycra. All the acting decisions have really come from my performance. All the psychological, all the moments, all the kind of the humorous moments, and turning the character on his head and becoming nasty, and then becoming, quite sad or whatever. They're driven by what I do.
My process! My process!
We
we get our gray shaded Gollum delivered, we import him from the creatures department. They build him. So when we get him, he is just a standard Gollum looking just like this. So then we get him, and we get him into Andy's pose, get the shoulders up, and get everything all ready, and we start at frame 1. And from there we start building, and then we go to frame 2 or 3 whenever Andy's making a gesture change, and we animate that character to what Andy's doing, whatever he's doing. You can see how the dialogue is broken down, and in this scene you can see where he's saying up, 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 up. This is Smeagol finally getting in his head that they'll lead, Sam and Frodo up the windy stair to Shelob, so Gollum can get the ring. So this has been broken down by editorial. They know where the U comes in and then where the P comes in. So in between these frames here, I know that I need to close his mouth for the hard P shape. What we have here is this is Andy Serkis's performance, and the footage that we get is this angle, a close-up, a side view, and like a medium long shot.
If we hadn't had Andy's performance, not only in motion capture, but in all these great reference shots, it would be more difficult in that it would just take a lot longer to nail down who these characters are, because everyone has their own interpretation. We've all tried to read the books.
So we look at this and we animate, and then we come up with this.
To the rounding star.
Now I've exaggerated the shoulders at the end to make him look, like he's a little young, like a little young boy getting all excited. See, Andy doesn't do that much.
When you're making a character, you're making acting choices, and it's really cool because you're kind of the director and the actor at the same time. Because you have to not only feel it, but you have to be able to look at your own work and go, what's working and what's not working, and kind of keep manipulating it to get it to ultimately work.
You can see that we reference him very heavily and get his performance. Then we get the skinned lit version with hair.
To the rounding star.
So there you have, pretty much the progression of a shot here at Weta.
At the end of the day, Peter has to see the shot to say it's done, but there's a few other people just before that have to say, okay, it's time to show it to Peter. This is our best effort. This is what he's asking for. Getting the work shown to those few people in a timely fashion.
Yep, well, it's good. I think it's a little late, and I think it's a little subtle. Maybe it starts with the eyes, and then it goes into a little bit of mouth stuff. It's like, take it as mine, So it actually, because he is going into that reach. I mean, he's Smeagol rather than Gollum here, isn't he? So
he's fighting the Gollum part, yeah.
He's fighting the Gollum part, and Smeagol. And there's a little bit of excitement coming in, yeah.
And I thought, oh God, I'd love to play this character just in prosthetics, or find a way of doing it, lose weight as much as I could, But Pete was very, very right to go that way. I mean, there was absolutely no doubt actually seeing, obviously, once it's finally manifested itself. But I think why it works and why people also connect with it is because there's this extreme-looking creature which you don't want to like and who looks alien, but actually he does have these human qualities, and it's the tension between that which actually gives him a greater human truth.
We must get the precious. We must get it back.
Smeagol!
It's a Shelob claw that gets chopped off by Frodo.
It's probably enough.
Final bristle.
A little bit of it.
Set.
Set.
Action!
camera's coming in, so go track.
Set.
Action!
Right round.
So we get you to the point where we're stuck, and all of the web stuff, Elijah, we're shooting today is just going to be tight. Yeah, the web's sort of in this entranceway here. You've run in from the background there, running towards us here, with the spider on your tail. Yep. Gollum is meanwhile on this side of the web. It's that realization that really that being in this web is actually fulfilling his plan. Because he basically says, well, we'll just let the spider eat you and suck out your meat, and then we'll come and clear out get the precious. And you realise at that point of being stuck in the web what the whole plan was all about.
Oh, yeah.
Right from the beginning, what tunnel, what the windy stair, what everything was all about. Trouble is, Joe's stuck in there now, so
Yeah, we're going to have to do it with Zoe.
it's going to take us like 4
Oh, we'll just do a
hours to
face
get
replacement.
Zoe is Frodo.
She'll do a
if she
brilliant
doesn't
job.
get eaten by Shelob in the meantime. So, are we ready for Elijah?
I remember these days.
Slightly wet, this one.
I'm making spider's web for Shelob's lair at the moment out of a elastomer that we had developed for us. Heat the stuff up and we put it on a water bath and then stretch it out. It's got an enormous amount of stretch.
Not to hit the fly. Why does it cry? Caught in the web. Soon you'll be eaten.
Help me!
We'll come back. Clean up later.
Smeagol! Gollum! Help me!
Then we'll go through the bones and the empty clothes. Then we'll take the precious for ourselves.
What Peter had wanted originally was kind of a National Geographic spider, kind of blown up and gone crazy.
I think Pete decided that a tunnel web spider was his number one bad spider in the world.
We had lots of spider reference. Unfortunately, spiders are very tiny usually, definitely not this big.
And what it's progressed into is something with a lot more kind of anthropomorphic character in the face and stuff. One of the eyes is milky, like there's a cataract in it. It just looks really diseased. There's all these disease clumps all over it.
We had some web reference. The web reference was really quick, as you can imagine, a little spider grabbing a cricket or something, but you definitely want to use it to just get where the web's coming out of, what legs they use it with, where they're placing it, and then throw it all away because this spider's, weighs 2 tons.
This is a scene where Frodo is struggling through these cliffs, Cirith Ungol, after he's had a showdown with Gollum, and Shelob pops out of a hole and, unbeknownst to him, creeps around and stabs him with her stinger, and he collapses, and she wraps him up in webbing, and then Sam comes along and saves him.
Hey, there's a light. Someone's home.
This is the shot of Frodo getting spun up in the cocoon, and I'll just scrub through it real quick just to show you what I look at all day. These aren't the nice and beautiful screens that you see in the movie theater, but this is basically what we do. We animate these kind of lower res creatures that are just base, and hand it off to someone else to make them look pretty.
One of the rewarding things about the Shelob sequence is that the TDs are working on the shots at the same time the animators are. So we'll do some animation during the day, publish it. The next day, we'll get to see that rendered and lit, and that's really inspiring because you get to see how much the texture adds to her character.
Next time we see this, the face will be chattering away.
Chattering away.
The mouth.
Oh, this is not getting the animation?
Weta Digital has been going for about 10 years now, and when it first started, there was really only one person, and the managers and the team referred to Weta Digital as the ILM of the South Pacific. That's no joke now. We probably have more processing power than ILM, We've won 2 Oscars in a row, and it's a very exciting time.
Looks very agricultural, but in here you have 512 2.2 gigahertz Xeon processors. That's a teraflop of computer processing power. That's larger than the Australian Centre for High Performance Computing. It was built, architected, installed and implemented in the space of 3 weeks. The computer room that we have, our 4th computer room, we're adding another 1,176 processors. That's 7 racks of servers, each rack with 168 processors. Each processor is a 2.8 gigahertz Xeon processor. Intel tell us that we will be the largest Intel HPC site in the world, and we believe in sheer processing power we'll be up there in the top 10. We may even outrank NASA. These basically take the film, run it through the gate here, and capture an image at what's called 2K, which is the working resolution for The Lord of the Rings. That's a big enough image for us to work on, shoot back out the film, and no one really tell that it's come through a digital process. We scan every single frame, and that's not just every single frame of drama, that's every single element for effect shots, which could be in some cases up to 50 layers when there's miniatures involved.
That pretty much is a day's work in miniatures. A lot of the stuff we shoot might only be a few frames long because it's going to be cut out and repositioned and moved around by digital and so on. We always get a few comments about the extremely short rolls that we shoot. We might spend, a whole day shooting 1,000 frames.
We colour grade the film. We have various skill sets here. The first thing is to just evolve looks and design how the film actually looks. The lavenders of Lothlorien through to the battle looks, and we really just design how the film looks.
We can modify the whole image. We can change the color basically of the whole image. On the other hand, we can rotoscope certain parts in the image and therefore change only that part.
We don't cut the negative anymore. Until now you've actually physically cut the neg. Now we don't need to do that, and this becomes really like a image bank for the film.
These are the ARRI laser film recorders, which do the opposite of the scanners. That is, they take a digital image and send it back to film.
It's good. There's good stuff in there. Good bits.
And kick at it! Kick it! Fight it!
It is a super blue guy moment, and it has arrived. The time has arrived.
Emma, super blue guy moment.
Yeah, okay.
When you're a low-ranked superhero who can't even afford a cape, what more do you expect?
Can't even afford a bloody insignia.
No, he can't afford any embroidery or markings.
It's pathetic.
It is pathetic.
It's bloody hard.
It's a stocking. You make stockings out of these.
It's like the world's largest condom, ribbed for her pleasure. If it gets in my eyes again, I'm gonna have to hit you. Yeah. Yeah. I understand. I'll wake up from my little reverie and smack you.
Hey, Shelob's thing wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
The thing that's hard is that it's a close up of the hands too, so it's like I just went up into Shelob's guts.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that stuff. I don't mind about that stuff. It's just the dirt. It's like dirt on your hands, like dust and stuff. Yeah.
So you got something on your fingers?
You know what it is? It's because I put my hands down when I'm adjusting my.
That's what it is. Don't put your hands down.
So you put a little bit of this Shelob gum right in his eyeballs, and he goes from young blue eyes to young green eyes.
I turn Irish all of a sudden.
He says, "Oi, Sam, how are you doing? What are you doing to me, Sam?"
Don't leave me here alone. Don't go where I can't follow. this is a very rare moment that we actually have a tangible tower in the background. It's right there, the Dark Tower. So this is kind of a special, this is a special moment. Because normally we have like a sketch that we look at. That's literally just a sketch that'll give us a basic idea of what the thing looks like. And now we don't have to use our imagination because there it is. It's lovely.
We will need to shoot another bit of Elijah in this thing, but it won't be for an hour or two. Or after lunch, so we should probably de-rig you, shouldn't we?
Sean, just take that look first again, sir.
Somebody lounging around. You know, we're here to work, we're here to shoot a movie. They're sleeping. Look at them. It's like it's a picnic out here.
But you can figure out, if you look at what size they are here, like they're about 4 foot wide here, so if you say those ones up there are 4 foot wide.
Bit of excitement, makes it all sort of gets the adrenaline rush happening. Once you see yourself in the mirror, suddenly you feel transformed and hopefully a character takes place.
We better go and kick him.
Start to think, wouldn't like to meet him in a dark alley, and suddenly you realise it's yourself you wouldn't like to meet in a dark alley.
You can hold up the shirt, don't hold it up too obviously, but let us see a little bit of this collar part of it, you know?
Do we have a hard hat?
Hugh Hefner's bed. He's straddling the hole. Lands is straddling the hole. Mandy's going to stomp on him and force him straight down on the net.
Hello there. Just another day at the office, really. Do you want a kiss? Yes, little smoochie? Yeah? You want some? Yeah? Yes, really?
See if there's anywhere that you can... He wants me to run across the top of that bridge up there.
How do I get up there? Walk around.
If you can do it, I can do it.
Sorry? What?
If you can do it, I can do it. He's learned from the great school of leadership that he won't ask anybody to do something that he's not willing to do. So, if he does it, I gotta do it.
Try, man. Sit. And action!
This is my favorite set. I think this is the coolest set. I love the stairs. It reminds me of those great old Hollywood movies, you know, Errol Flynn and swashbuckling stuff and coming up the stairs and Three Musketeers. I love it.
Even better head underneath.
There you go,
One of the things that's a bit weird is the scale of the hobbits. Now, orcs are not huge, so I'm not so worried about that, but when Elijah stands up, he's standing up on this bank here, and he looks really enormous.
I feel like I'm Miss Gulliver after a while.
This model is for the wide shot of Minas Tirith, and it's to be used in conjunction with large 12th and 8th scale sections, which will be tied in with specific parts of the action.
This is a 14th scale version of this. There. So it's based on an already completed model. but it just has a lot more dressing involved. There's clotheslines and there's kettles and you name it. It's very modular, so pieces that we're getting from various places, we just dress them up. Of course, it'll all be dressed to camera after we're finished, so most of the detail work goes in there.
You work to the camera. The stuff that's up close to camera is very, very precise, and then it gradually kind of tapers off into the mist. Then we shoot it in smoke, of course, so it has aerial perspective, so you don't see everything quite so closely. The very first time that Peter saw the miniature set of Minas Tirith, he said, "This is great, but we need to do some shots like Star Wars where we're flying the camera down through the streets." Well, the problem is that this set was built as a long shot set. It was never intended to be shot close up at all. So naturally, here's the result. So here we are flying through the streets with a snorkel lens so we can get right down inside. Every building had to be super detailed because we're looking at them from just fractions of an inch away. And basically what this is the Nazgul is flying between the buildings, knocking people off and terrorizing the whole place. We're flying backwards and he's flying towards us, so we're essentially leading him same kind of path. So in fact, and exactly as Peter has used it, he's cut from one to the other. Plus there's intercut shots of the terrorized people running around and ducking for cover and so forth.
Amazing. Those are not real soldiers, are they? They are?
Well, we just fortunately we found some real Nazgul.
No.
We're just lucky. We're lucky that New Zealand is the only country in the world that has real
Were
Nazgul.
those actors playing the soldiers, or were those computerized?
Well, some are real and some aren't.
Good. Why don't I zap them?
Because your batteries are low, and you can't get any double A's in the city anywhere. You've tried every chemist. You've tried every chemist in Minas Tirith, and they're out of double A batteries.
Oh no.
Oh, that was a tricky question, but I managed to answer it quite well, didn't I?
And this is just preliminary lighting. I believe there's also siege towers and all sorts of other elements that's supposed to go into it. There's also supposed to be clouds coming in, wispy clouds that they go through. Now, by no means is animation the only thing in this shot. There is just about everything in the shot that you can possibly have. There is keyframed animation, there is massive simulation, trebuchets being pulled off towers, you name it, it's there, and it was all hell to do.
But this was a real fun one. This is the one where fitting a 747 through some buildings is a pretty tough call. So this doesn't look like as tight a space as it really is, because it's pretty tight. And if we get in here and look at it, this is the actual geometry that I'm flying through, taking this creature through. So getting him to cruise through this stuff was pretty tough.
We're only here to do one thing, and that's tell a story. We're not here to make great effects. We're not here to do cool sound mixes. We're here to tell Peter's story and Tolkien's story. That's our only function. And then ideally, we would do our jobs and then erase our tracks and disappear. And nobody would know we'd been there.
Yeah. He does kill an awful lot of people very quickly.
But that's cool. That's what the kids like. I like the idea that you're defending Pippin. It's not gratuitous in the way we normally do things.
No,
it's actually
right.
it is you're defending Pippin, which is actually great. It's a great.
Isn't Steve great at this? He's quite fit, isn't he, Gandhi?
Yeah. Well, I think when he needs to be. I think anybody's fit when they're defending somebody that they care about.
Matrix. Excuse me.
So, Moo, what Ian was suggesting is to sell the moment between you two at the end.
Yep.
That basically you come and get stabbed, right?
Yep.
And then at that point
you make a dreadful roar. You hear the noise.
You hear him, and you turn. You're tired, but you turn. You're going to attack him, and at that point you just fall. Because the timing's quite important, because you've got to go to attack and you fall down dead, and before you see the Hobbit, you sort of. You don't quite know. You just stare at him and you look at your weapons. It's like, my God, what the hell happened?
And action!
There's certain things that you'll never see Gandalf practicing. You never see him keeping fit. Who cuts his hair? These are the things I worry about. Where does he buy his clothes?
Yeah, where does all that white? Lovely.
And who washes it for him? Who washes that lovely hair for him? I never see him
Well,
down the pool.
Bill Legolas, wouldn't it? Well, I should think.
The elf. He knows a thing or two about blonde hair.
Try to put braids in it for you, I should think. Go that, leave it. Ponytail.
Leave it, Legolas. Leave it.
It was great. Good stuff. This last take. Everybody wet? Yeah. Don't take us 10, guys. I'm here.
Just remind everybody.
Nice wet. If you were to pull your sword out and be shouting to soldiers around here, and you're looking out towards the towers over here, they're not right here. They're more over there. Stand to your posts, prepare to fight. You know, if you were to stand to your post, prepare to fight, and then you turn, and if you saw Pippin and you stepped up to that mark, very good. So it actually gave you that step forward. Once you see him, I thought would look quite good.
Around this time of day, about 3 in the afternoon, Ian always has a nice warm cup of tea. Today, I stole it. And I've eaten his biscuits.
That's very good. No, it is very good. It is very good. It would just be nice just to get another little one for luck. Let's just do one more for luck. Just do one more for luck. Should we just do one more for luck? I should just do one more for luck. One more would be good. Just do one more. We'll just do one more for luck. Nice. That was nice. Should we do one more for luck? Just do one more, guys, if we could. Let's just do one more for luck then. Let's just do another one. We're getting into the swing of it. Let's do one more of those, just for luck. Should we do one more for luck? That was good. Don't yell cut until you hear me yell cut. And cut. Cut. That wasn't bad.
Get over. Back up. Back. Come here. Hi.
I've spent the whole day on the horse today, Shadowfax. First he was rearing up quite a lot, but once he felt my manhood, as it were, he settled down. This is him here.
Hey, let's be serious.
Is this serious? This is making a movie here.
3, 2, 1, action.
Watch yourself back there. I think he's broke a leg. Shoot the bastard. As you can see, I've removed his legs and head because he was misbehaving. Anyway, shows your kind of person I am. Goodbye.
And we just have a close-up of Faramir being rested on some wood. His body kind of being up and down.
Burn, like the heathen keep the wall.
Today I'm operating myself. Well, I'm operating Pippin, who is Fawn today. And it's great fun. A strange thing they don't know, but a flick of a switch, and I can actually make Fawn take off. What's this? Whoa, and there she goes. What a cracker. And whoa! Watch yourself there, Peter. Nice piece of flying. The only thing is landing. Not so good at that. Here she comes. Oh! Sorry, Fawn. Did you notice the Fawn's face moving there? There was some fantastic face movement. Right, okay. I think the operator was very good.
I wonder who it was.
I wonder who it was.
We should get you wired up, you see, with electrodes so you could move.
Yeah, I could do it myself. I'm drunk again, I'm afraid, Eric.
I'm so sorry, Bill.
Point me to the camera.
Right this way, sir. Look down there.
There's the
And begin your line. Thank you. Excellent.
Ready when you are. Jump the bloody line. What's that for me? Would you see?
What's wrong?
See you in my trailer in 10 minutes.
no applause or anything like that until we have physically taken the hood off of Rodney and determined that he's okay, and no talking either. There's an ambulance standing by on stage just outside this archway here. The unlikely event that anything did go wrong, it would be brought to the ambulance. They would start immediate treatment on him. An air vac helicopter is on standby and transport him to a burn center if necessary.
So here we are, flat out at the Health and Safety Department. I'm in a very good watching position to watch these flaming balls come flying in towards my direction. So, and I've got CO2 here just in case.
So the trick on this one is Pete wants us to get the camera as close as we can get it to Grand. The camera guys are a little worried because we don't want to like smash the lens with it, the elbow of Grand. So but I'll be fighting to get it closer and closer, and they'll be pushing me back. So it'll be a nice tug of war here.
We'll just bounce the camera out of the way harmlessly. Yep.
All the pieces have codes on them, so we can match the appropriate pieces back together again. All the front hero stuff will match reasonably well, but all the mass in the back, it doesn't matter. It's debris by the time we see it.
Scouts report Menace Tirith is surrounded. The low level is in flames. Everywhere the legions of the enemy advance.
What is it about white and grey horses that they need? What is it? Every white and grey horse in this film needs a buddy.
Yeah.
They're neurotic animals. They're like the worst possible film star who has an entourage going around with them and they can't function without them.
95, please.
Start your line at the bottom of the hill, Carl, just when you're going through the swamp here.
The scouts report Menace Tirith is surrounded. The low level is in flames. Everywhere the enemy advance.
Instead of looking like that, just kind of look at it. And then come up for when she says...
Well, I've done my immortal pieces of work earlier on this morning, and now it's just down to the guy with the spiky things coming out of the back of his head to impersonate me as best he can.
Looks like me, doesn't he?
It's hard to kind of work out if they do look like you, because I think Billy's looks really like him, and Elijah's and Sean Astin's, but I can't. Excuse me, I can't see me. But Billy's the same. Billy can't see that he looks just like his mask. So I'm sure it really does look like me, but it's quite scary to see all your kind of bad things about your face right in front of me.
To battle.
Okay, and that's when everybody will ride out. Stand by to shoot!
Scouts report Menace Tirith is surrounded. The low level is in flames. Everywhere legions of the enemy advance. We will ride through the night.
To battle.
This provides me with the body that I require. It sends electrical currents into my stomach just to keep it firm, because I do have a tendency to overeat slightly. So 3,000 volts of electricity every 7.5 minutes, and by the end of the day I look like Bruce Lee. It's fantastic.
Sat in a meeting 3.5 years ago with Peter Jackson, and he talked
at length about the cavalry charge of the Rohan across the Pelennor fields attacking the Orcs as they sieged Minas Tirith, and the words that he described are now being lived out behind me here at Twizel on location in this incredible countryside. Exactly the vision that he delivered to us on that day has come to fruition as 250 horses in full Rohan armour with their riders plated and shining and their spears in attack position are ready to take on the Orcs, and with the CG enhancement of a further 6,000 behind them, it's incredible that so much time can pass, but without fault, here we are seeing exactly as he described it all those years ago.
One of the big spectacular scenes from the whole trilogy, really, and the final scene is going to involve 6,000 horses charging, which we will be using computer-generated horses to give us the 6,000, but here today we've got about 250 for doing what you call close-ups, although obviously 250 horses is not really a close shot. It's going to be lovely and wide, and they'll be able to fill the frame. There's been very few films probably that have ever shot horse charges with 250 horses. It does look like a lot of horses. It's a great visual sight to see rank upon rank of these Rohan riders. It was probably 3 or 4 years ago that Richard Taylor and I were talking about how many Rohan costumes he should build, and I said, well, let's make 250 because I'd love to get 250 riders on horses. After 3 or 4 years, here it is. We're here now and doing it. Very exciting.
Ride now! Ride for ruin! And the world's ending! Death! 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 Death!
All Citroens should be built like this.
Able to go again, would like to go again. It's important that they look back. There's a monocle bearing down on them. Okay, that's our A-frame.
Just doing a rough comp of some 3D previous material and some live action of one of the battle scenes.
To create Pelennor Fields, we started really early on with Alan Lee, and Alan came in and we sat and actually created the 3D environment for Pelennor Fields. We started with Minas Tirith being the origin, and built up the mountains right behind Pelennor, or right behind Minas Tirith, which were the White Mountains. Out from the White Mountains were Pelennor Fields themselves, which is about 6K of just flat field. It seems like a real place to me now because we've spent so much time in that area. I could probably map out the whole area, and if I was to drop there, I think it's upwards of around 400 shots. So it's a movie in itself as far as effects go. So 400 shots is as many shots as most movies have these days.
At this size, it doesn't look like much, but then once you get everything shaded with secondary dynamics and it's up on the big screen, you can pick out that each of the horses are moving as individuals, but also as a group. To give you a sense of scale, there are probably 10 times more massive agents in this shot than there were at Helm's Deep.
Well, lift it. Ready? Look how strong we are. Poor bugger.
You can't flog a dead, well, you can. If you want to go and flog that dead horse, you can.
Apparently they eat horse steaks in Europe.
That wasn't meant to happen.
Not every horse was hurt in the making of this movie.
Well, that's right.
Obviously, we didn't want to hurt any horses or performers.
This one was a badly trained one. It wasn't even hurt, didn't feel a thing.
Peter wanted, you know, just grueling, nasty, you know, horrible deaths from these things where they're, you know, face planting and, you know, tumbling over each other.
This is a horse and rider actually captured at the same time and then split up into individual actions. I can show you the motion tree here for this guy is quite large. These controls a different aspect of the horse's behavior. You do get instances where maybe some of the riders are a little bit more adept at riding the horses than others, which is pretty realistic.
And normally we have a performer wear a lycra suit, which we Velcro the little reflective markers on. That was a lot of lycra and a lot of suits to build, so we went to workshop and talked to Gino Acevedo and said, well, what's the strongest glue you've got? We're able to adhere the markers right into the hair of the horses, and we were able to just soak them down every night and clear them up and then back on the next day. The horses we had dictated a lot what we were able to achieve as well. Luckily, we had some, you know, a great rearing horse. We had a horse that we could put down and get back up again. We had the motion edit team work on those and fine-tune them so that contact was happening and so that orcs are getting trampled and so that, you know, the timing and the contact is actually working, because obviously we didn't really want to trample over the stunties.
All of these are individual actions, and then they're transitioning between each other. So you can go to a canter, or a stop.
I'm responsible for producing what we term the creature rig, which is the high-res asset that the horse motion gets put onto. That's kind of my job. You have to work sort of anatomically, but at the same time break a bunch of rules about how that stuff works. You're working with surfaces that hook up and behave like normal muscles, so you have to anticipate where those things are going to bulge under the skin and how they react to world forces.
Here's the sequence in a fairly rudimentary form, and what I'm working on here is just getting the riders and horses here looking correct in space and matching with the camera. I've put in a first layer of arrows volleying down, and after that I'll go ahead and render it, still with just very simple shaders, just to get an idea of how the riders are looking with motion blur and also the arrows. Lighting the horses and riders, just gelling them into the scene, trying to match the lighting of the live action riders. It's also good for me to reference this and see where maybe the animation could do with a bit more work.
Rotoscoping is separating images from the background plate in order to layer things in behind, so it's masking. So this shot is a charge, battle charge, and there's going to be CG characters colliding. So if there were no mats, no rotoscoping, the CG characters would just overlay these horses here. So what we have to do is draw a line around every single one of these horses, and the compositor will take the plate, apply the mat, apply the CG, and then they will layer in as they're supposed to and actually fill in all the gaps.
Somebody who's familiar with DG doubles can probably tell which ones are and which ones aren't, but it's gotten to a point where it's pretty difficult now. This guy's not real, this guy isn't either, and a couple of them in the background, and the one that gets, basically all of them that get hit. So that was the major challenge with this shot, making realistic horse and rider motion when you had, you know, big screen references of real horses and riders very close by, so you couldn't make many mistakes. It wasn't very forgiving.
Animation has done a really good job of making those look pretty nasty.
The keyframe animation on film 2 was amazing, but this took it to a whole nother level.
Hopefully, in the end, it'll be difficult to tell where, you know, the line between our real horses and the digital ones ends, but I guess when you look at it in those terms, the bottom line is if it's a horse that's getting killed, then it's a digital one, because we've tried to avoid, obviously, hurting any real horses.
We've squeezed everyone's pets, every animal at every zoo we can possibly find, and voila.
The Mama Kill charge was the next big challenge for us. In this movie, they really come in. They're a big part of the Pelennor battle. There's 21 Mama Kills.
Every time I've storyboarded for Peter, there's always been something in the movies. There's always been something that I've had to storyboard, even right back on Braindead, especially back on Braindead. But there's always been something that I've just thought, oh man, that is going too far. And generally, it's the thing people who talk about the films love.
The idea here was to seamlessly blend between real Legolas and digital Legolas, which happens about right here, just before he mounts the tusk. And so, we had to be quite careful in matching textures and getting the shaders to behave exactly as Orlando's costume behaved. We have plates where we photograph Orlando Bloom against a blue screen, and he has to do impossible things that you could never have a real actor do. The idea here is Legolas is supposed to be standing on the front leg of a Mama Kill, jumping to the back leg of a Mama Kill. We're trying to figure out how we can get this to work. And this is what we ended up with. So you can see it's quite a bit different. Really, the only thing we preserved from the blue screen was a few frames of Legolas's face, which we attached to the digital actor in a few key places, and the rest of it was reanimated entirely.
Because the sandbags that Legolas is climbing onto is static, Legolas is sort of just in his mind trying to sort of mimic what the Mamaka would be doing, sort of changing weight and that sort of thing. And then with what Legolas is doing, I've got to try and animate the Mama Kill to make it look as though it's the Mama Kill pushing around Legolas, not Legolas sort of just acting on his own to some sort of timing reference.
There's a few artists here that are particularly good at that sort of morphing technique. And what we've done is we've tried to match our CG Legolas as closely as we can to the physical Legolas that was photographed against the blue screen.
It was said we couldn't do it. We sort of, banged it around with figures and things, and everyone said, no, it's just too difficult. Richard, being who Richard is, said, yes, of course we can do it. We can do anything. So about 6 people carved it for about 6 weeks.
When I was sculpting the elephant, originally I did the maquette and sculpting with a small tool, just a fine pointed thing, and then doing the bigger one using bigger tools. Of course, different substances make a difference too, because I've been sculpting in plasticine and Sculpey. The one that's in the studio is being sculpted out of polyfoam. It's like expanded foam, and that's got to be carved with like knives, blades, and saws, and sandpaper and grinders. And you see, we're now using big power tools like saber saws and angle grinders to sculpt with. It's interesting.
We did a whole lot of experiments trying to figure out how to achieve this sort of glorious sort of skin texture. Had a fairly fun session trying out all different things and spraying foam and pushing sand and then spraying the foam in a very fine mist at quite a steep angle, so it built up on the sand, which has also made it very, very hard, so you can climb around on the surface even though there's a very thin layer of foam in places. You can actually climb around all over it, as we have to do. There was a lightweight steel structure, just sort of as a starting skeleton, just basically cubes of steel which are all bolted together, and it comes into 11 pieces. So we had 11 40-foot trucks which we loaded all on using cranes and stuff in Miramar at Weta, where we built it, and in convoy brought them all out here. So anyone who was in the middle of Wellington City on about 4 o'clock, so Thursday afternoon, would have looked up to see a giant ear or a giant tusk or a giant leg or 4 giant legs so sailing past on these trucks. Apparently several people saw it. It was very funny. Lots of people going, just spending some time in the city, and an elephant went past in pieces.
Found it!
What?
It's
Where?
found!
is it? Whereabouts?
Carl just now teased me. It was in the script. It's on its way over.
In the skip. They have found it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God for that. Yay.
Great.
Wow, it's going to be a good day today. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a relief. It's good. I just a couple of rolls of 3D film from the set that. Yeah, no, we thought it was in the skip. Found in the skip.
Oh, excellent work.
There you go. You seen them? You want to?
Excellent work.
Hey, on Monday, wasn't there even people in the mummy
Someone was cleaning up his table and didn't realise it looked like garbage.
Yeah. Oh, look at this one here. Look at that one there in 3D.
Oh, that's cool.
It'll be all right.
Deep.
Lower the leg.
Do you want the helmet lying at any particular angle, Peter?
Do I land first and the horse lands on top of me? Is that the idea?
Well, you and the horse are going to cartwheel, and I think at some point you separate. Yes, and you land, and the horse kind of comes out. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but jump here and then over the top of the horse. So that you shouldn't have your hand down anywhere here because your foot will be kind of. It should be running
On this bit?
Yeah.
Because I can feel this bit. Right on me.
Is that?
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. No, she'll land right there. There's two things. One is the side step, just to get out of the way of the jaws, and secondly is the motion of chopping it. Like you don't have to be chopping it the split second that you're jumping out of the way. You've got actually quite a bit of time. So really, one is just without any thought to chopping its head off. You're just jumping out of the way of the thing, and then you see its neck right in front of you exposed. And you think, right, I'm going to take this, take its head off. Yeah.
Begone, Lord of Carrion! Do not come between the Nazgul and his prey.
Head rears back. 1, 2, and strike!
The way Pete works with animation is very much like the way he works with live action. He'll enjoy having several takes to choose from, and sometimes, like in this case, it's really necessary to see the action happen a couple of different ways, so it's, you know, he's able to choose which one, if any, he likes.
What I'm doing is making it a smoother, more comfortable ride for the Witch King, who, after losing his steed to some nasty woman who just deemed to cut its head off, gets off and walks towards her to give her a right bloody telling off. So, to try and ease his mood, to try and make it easier for him to wander on forward, I'm going to carpet his wander down, which hopefully should go a long way to cheering him up. After that, we might make him a nice cup of tea. And so with great pomp and ceremony, the carpet goes on.
Just taking the generator that you Lawrence?
And we'll use the real ball and chain. He won't be swinging it. It'll just be a shot of him rising, holding it.
Lawrence is using this stand-in stick, which we have marked up, where we can track the actual movement of it. And what's going to eventually end up on it is this giant ball and chain thing here. And obviously the reason that we use this instead of the original prop is because he's swinging this around, and Miranda, you know, it's obviously a safety issue.
Off to lunch, folks.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Half hour, so if I was you, I'd hurry along. Oh, Andrew?
Yeah. He's free to just do his actions as wild as he wants, and still not worry about the safety concerns.
Interesting, isn't it?
Hope it doesn't fly off the end.
Bad news.
You see, it's a cheat provided by the lovely Joe,
Let's just stick it on, shall
who helps me in many ways.
And action!
Being on our knees gives the orcs a bit of a chance, I suppose.
I was doing it again, man. Remember?
Because we're kind of hard, me and Mary. He's just stabbed the Witch King in the knee a couple of scenes before, which deadens his arm, which is why he's got his arm hurt. And in the shot we just done, an orc has also hit him in the shoulder, so boom, he's fallen down. And we think we're going to lose the battle. But do we? Oh, need to tune in to find out.
Have it to you, you knave. And he falls down and then he dies.
For the Black Gates of Mordor location, we need an area that's a bit like a desert, a sort of a large expanse of barren land with very little vegetation. Because it's a kind of arid, dead, desolate part of the landscape of Middle-earth, and there's very few places in New Zealand that actually have this sort of, because New Zealand's a very green country and quite mountainous, to actually find something flat with no vegetation is very difficult. And this area of the desert road, the Rangipo Desert it's called, is unfortunately the same area as the New Zealand Army do their live firing exercises.
What I find funny is, out of all the places in this army zone, Peter chose the most dangerous place to shoot in, with the most live ammunition. One of those mortar bombs that they showed us the other day, buried underneath the sand right outside our truck. We could have died. All the lights would be all gone. But you know, we're expendable, aren't we? Well, you are.
The army had to do like 3 sweeps through this area, removing unexploded bombs and mines and mortar bombs and various things before they'd even allow us to come in and shoot. But they've been very good about cleaning it up for us, so we're able to come in. With all these horses around this sort of landscape, we should be shooting a spaghetti western at the weekends.
What weekend?
What weekend? Yeah, we don't have any weekend. That's right. Damn it, working too hard.
Myself and my partner Tanya, we're not proud to say clock up a regular 100-hour working week as we have done for about 3.5 years. We've had a couple of days off since Christmas, about 4 months ago. So it certainly takes its toll. But fortunately, everything has its gains, and the product that we see in the rushes gives us the inspiration and the energy to keep going, so we'll tick on regardless.
Let the Lord of the Black Land come forth! The free peoples of Middle-earth demand he come forth!
He's basically dead. He's one of the living dead, I think that's what it is.
The halflings release. Gondor and all its lands shall pay tribute to Mordor.
I've never been so submerged in costume, makeup and masks, etc. as I have been in this.
Go to this guy in the hotel.
But underneath it all you can still perform, so anyway.
There was no answer. No joke.
It's because we're operating 2 sets today, so the other sword that was specially made for this gag has had to go to the other set.
If things come off, we won't have to cut it. Hopefully you will not cut this to us cutting it.
A swordsmith would have our heads.
Next.
Today is Weta's biggest day for the armoury department. We've got 350 extras dressed in full plate armour and carrying weapons, and it's a big day, but it's going surprisingly well and everyone's coping with it, and it's a good sign for the future.
Where do you want our slaughtered?
The Army's involvement here is we provide a number of extras to supplement the manning for the casting here, and also we provide a bit of land for the filming.
Front pretty thin. Everyone else, slowly drift back, cover the complete top of the crest.
There's lots of standing, lots of energy involved, and yeah, they have been really tiring. A lot of the guys just go home and crash. They're not interested in playing afterwards.
Pretty bloody boring. Just standing here and listening to these but yeah, it's alright.
Just remember to keep your focus and energy up.
Rather do fighting scenes with the boys today than
do it later on.
We want to keep it the same, continuous, which is what continuity stands for.
Hope we get paid. Do we get paid for this?
Stand your ground, he says! We're looking up at him. Those are turning. I want you to see turning more. Start actually thinking more about it.
These people have been hanging around for about 6 hours. They're going to call lunch now. Lunch is just behind you.
This is chaos, organised chaos. Doing battles is like you can rehearse something, but every time you do it, something changes, and the cameras are always in different places. So it's especially some form of chaos. Hoping people don't get hurt.
Today, so far, so good. Only a couple gone down. Yesterday we had a few stunt trippers from the Gondorian ranks. Decided to fall over in front of the rest of the fellas as they ran over them. But today it's just mainly mayhem and looking for a bit more blood and guts, I think.
I'm glad you find it funny.
See, that's the thing, which I think Mary has picked up, which the Eastern technique of using the opponent's strength.
Yeah.
Divert the force.
I mean, when I started this job, I was a 6-stone weakling.
Almost an angel?
Yeah, I'm a 14-stone warrior now. I mean, I could take out any one of these guys in a heartbeat.
You can see the fear in their eyes when they look at you. It's quite incredible.
We've gone through 7 temples now at the Shaolin Temple, which is okay. Most people take 15, 16 years. We took, what did we take? 12 days?
No, you took 12 days. I took 14. But I had the weekend off though.
Yeah, you went out partying, didn't you?
Yeah, I get drunk.
You're working with stuntmen who you don't want to injure, so you've got to be composed and controlled. And so, you want to get the moves in right, you want to sell it to the camera, you want it to be real, and you want to show the strength that the character has in that situation and the skill that he has. And you're trying to stay in the moment, and there's a lot of things that come into play in that situation.
Just in case it takes a stray blow, they're padding up as well because they're getting right in amongst the action.
Andrew, you forgot to take your skateboard helmet off at lunchtime.
Whoops.
After your skateboarding finished, you forgot to take the gear off.
Has it saved you at all from...
Absolutely. From serious plastic surgery.
So you've taken a few knocks.
Well, I think some serious plastic surgery wouldn't actually go amiss, to be quite honest.
Don't actually hit his arm, because what you should do is just slice past it, because then we can just chop it off. Because if your sword blade actually stops, we kind of can't do the follow through on the computer.
Bruises, owies, I've got owies.
No, it is a shooting rap though, thank you.
I need a
Just
plaster.
When on top of a volcano performing stunts, it accesses a different part of the cerebral cortex and the gluteus maximus.
aluminium first, and we'll only do one of them, and then we'll do one brass, and then we'll do one lead. You do a bit of scraping. So we'll do the aluminium one first.
Action.
Now.
So that's like a shockwave that goes through and destabilizes the tower. And as we pan back up, we pan back onto Sauron's eye at the top, looking all mean and angry. Sauron's eye goes nova and the tower begins to come apart. Now, in this test, there's only 100 moving pieces simulated and the tower is not being destroyed now, whereas in the final, all of this will be coming apart. It's a difficult one, whether to do an effect like this with miniatures or with CG. However, how far a piece of debris will go out of the tower sideways compared to how far it will go down, it creates an arc, and the shape of that arc will dictate the scale of the object. If things go out more, then the object that detonated was a smaller scale and shot at a higher speed. So, in order to make the arc look remotely believable, I think we figured we had to make a 6-story miniature. On top of that, we also have to make it out of a form of cookie dough in order to get it to crumble correctly. So that is one big biscuit. A few things have changed since last time we talked. On top of the destruction of Barad-dûr, we are now spending a good portion of the time at the Black Gates, watching the ground open up and the gates fall into the ground and thousands of orcs being swallowed by the earth itself.
This shot was kind of a late addition, and we did have the challenge of getting it in at the end of the schedule, but still that there's so much going on and that we had to develop in a very short period of time. But luckily there had been work on the Barad-dûr crumbling before us, and they were doing good work on that, so we were able to grab a lot of the techniques and apply it to what we were doing, because there's a lot of similar things going on. This is one of the Black Gate shots. Basically, what we're trying to achieve here is the ground is crumbling apart, and eventually this will be covered with tens of thousands of orcs. And as it's breaking away, we have the bits of the gate that are going to be falling in, and then the 2 towers on the side, which start to break up as well.
Our first version of this was a big stone crashing, big stone crumbling, and that sort of thing, because the tower is evidently made of possibly of obsidian or rock. So our first obvious choice was to do it with crumbling stones, which sounds pretty good, but Peter thought it would be really good to have it sound different than you would expect. He likes to do those little twists. So he thought it'd be cool to have it sound like glass breaking. So we went in the record room and just ground up a bunch of glass and some ceramic tiles and things like that. There's going to be a bit of an issue of trying to make the whole tower sound big and made of glass. So I've added some glacier bangs, some actual glaciers breaking, So you got a mixture of sort of an ice element and the glass, and the glaciers make it sound heavy. But there'll probably be quite a few other elements added throughout here to try to make it sound like it's got the scale.
This dump tank we've built up on top here is for allowing the lava to run down the table, and when we pull the levers, it allows the lava to flow. We built it ourselves.
It's a great design because what it does, it's got a knife edge that cuts through the crust and separates the crust off the material underneath. So what we're able to do is dump the crust and recycle our material. Depending on what sort of crust action we want, we use different materials. Yeah. Some of it is stearic acid, some of it's lacquer. So, some of the crust, what we're doing is using dry methocel sprinkled on top so it sort of dries, and then spraying that. See this sort of look here where it's really stringing and building up? Yeah. That's lacquer. The surface we're using obviously has to allow ultraviolet to pass through because we are using UV lights.
These are UV inhibitors, whereas all the other guys have gone for fashion, I've gone for practicality.
Then you run into a whole lot of other problems with material that can allow UV to pass, but then getting a big enough sheet. So in the case of this table, we've actually had to laminate sheets together. We've calculated there's about nearly 900 kilos, getting close to a ton of material on the table at any one time. You can imagine the clean-up time and the reset times between shots.
Is everybody keen on a good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours overtime? I have a live!
Oh, can you just stop, guys? We just need to go and show me something from the camera. If you could just stay tensed up right there, don't do anything. Right. Yeah, look at this. Okay, so let's show we don't have a reference tape of this, so I just need to show you.
Oh, the sun was out, wasn't it?
But I think what we can do is now just have that, and then we'll cut to you now. And you'll say your line, and then he'll respond to your first line, and then you'll say your second line as you step away.
It is a coronation, so
something celebratory.
So I've done something. It's a new creation. It's called "Come Rain, Come Shine, Come Dancing."
Oh, it's divine. It's divine.
It's
very funny.
You have to make. Well, we haven't had anything camp in this entire movie yet. So. Spares.
Oh, spares. Oh.
Makeup.
I quite like it myself.
Well, why not? I'm sure Professor Tolkien would have approved.
Now come the days of the Queen. May it be blessed.
It's lovely.
We've been scouring the landscape looking for something for the guy who's got everything, and we found this, which is a 4D camera. And Peter, if you would just like to step down here on the next step, I will take the first photograph.
Please. Does it squirt water? No.
Okay, you ready? Okay, and... Go.
There's no way that I could have made this film alone. I mean, it's just me wanting to do this particular project. But what I needed is I needed a huge amount of support. I needed people that had never worked on a film this size before, which was sort of all of us, really, to step up and to meet the challenge. And you certainly did, every single one of you. And you should all feel so incredibly proud, because there wouldn't be any film project in the world that anybody could conceive of that you people couldn't just make, because you've been involved in like what I'm sure is the most complicated film production ever. You've done incredible work, and you know, it's you folk that should feel incredibly proud of yourselves. So thank you all very, very much. So
If it's any consolation, this is the first time it snowed in Waiuru in April in 47 years. It's quite interesting, isn't it, the way that it's just drifting down like this. The good news is we're about to go out and finish the scene that we started to shoot in Te Anau last year. So we're finally going to be able to get that scene finished. So it will not be wasted day. Thank you. Follow me! Follow me!